Communication works for those who works at it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my space. My name is Shubham Jha. Today I will be talking about one of the most important aspects of any great or memorable conversation or any confident or powerful speech, which is hand gestures. So whenever we talk about hand gestures, many people get into a pool of never-ending questions like, why do we need any sort of hand gestures? What does it add to our conversation? Do anyone even notice that? Can it be learned or it's an inborn talent? And many more questions, so on and so forth. In this video, I will try to answer most of these questions from the best of my knowledge and my experience till now. So before I start this video, I just want to make one thing very much clear to you all, that I am not a guru of any sort. I am also a learner just like you people, and I will be sharing my learnings with you all, as I have also mentioned in my previous videos. But I will definitely suggest you all to watch this video till the end and pick some points and add them to your personality, and I can assure you that it will definitely benefit you in some way or the other. Without any further delay, let's start. So whenever we talk about hand gestures, the first thing that pops in our mind is that why should we use hand gestures? Actually, there are enough reasons for that. First, hand gestures tell your intentions and are considered as trust indicators. Second reason is that it assists us in presenting ourselves as more charismatic, likable and a memorable person. It can also help us in making a deeper connection with our audience and makes the message we give more clear and understandable to them. One more reason because of which we should be using hand gesture is that hand gesture can be our second language, as hand gesture adds the information which are missing in our conversation or speech. One major reason for using hand gesture is that it strongly affects the person on the other side subconsciously, so we really need to be careful about what we are affecting them with. One more reason is that hand gesture is an indicator of your confidence level, as it shows that you are so much confident with your point that you can explain it even with your hands. So I hope you all must have got your reasons for why you should consider adding hand gestures in every conversation you make. But before that, we also need to know that if hand gestures are not used properly, it could also be a reason to sabotage your own personality. Now I will be telling you about some hand gestures that you need to avoid in any conversation you make. The first one is using no hand gesture. This is perceived as a very less powerful way to present oneself in a conversation. And in addition to that, it also makes the other person feel that you don't even care about the point you are making. Now moving to the second hand gesture that we should definitely avoid is talking with your hands hidden, which looks something like this. This is one of the biggest and the most common blunder that people make while using hand gesture. A person with hidden hands is considered very much untrustworthy. This is one of the non-verbal signals which is deeply ingrained in our subconscious. In ancient time, when someone used to approach with hands out of view, was considered a clear signal of potential danger. Although today this is not the case, but a psychological discomfort still remains. Now the third gesture that we all must avoid is having a fig leaf figure, which looks something like this. This is also a very commonly used gesture. Actually, whenever we use this gesture, we are perceived as we don't recognize the topic about which we are talking. In addition to that, it is also extracted that we have absolutely no emotional investment in the issue. Now moving to the fourth gesture, which is talking with your hands crossed all the time, which looks something like this. First of all, it's a close body language which definitely doesn't feel good to the person on the other side, as it makes them feel that you are trying to block him or her. This position is very less approachable, so try not to fold your arms even if you are thinking or waiting for something. If you find yourself with the folded arms unknowingly, just open them up and soon you will gain a habit of maintaining an open body language. And let me tell you this, a person many folds his chances of getting opportunity just by having an open body language. Now the fifth hand gesture that we must avoid is having both hands in the pocket, which looks something like this. First of all, you must know that keeping both hands in the pocket will always represent unprofessionalism. You may place one hand in your pocket because it demonstrates that you are relaxed and comfortable while still having authority. So avoid putting both hands in your pocket all the time, because many of you might feel that it looks cool, but let me tell you that it is not cool at all. Now the last two gestures that I will be talking about must be taken care of. The first gesture is speaking with your palm facing downwards. This gesture shows that you are in a controlling position and you are trying to show your power and dominance. Hitler is one of the leaders who used to have his palm facing down in many of his speeches. Now the second point is speaking with your fingers pointing the other person. It is actually a parental gesture of scolding and is also a symbol of dominance. Aggressive finger pointing means the leader has lost the control of situation and makes the audience feel that they are stupid. We should avoid these hand gestures as much as we can. I have tried to cover most of the blunders that one often does during a conversation or speech. If you ask my opinion, I will definitely suggest you to avoid these kind of hand gestures which are previously discussed in the video. Rather, we should be picking up some confident hand gestures which could make our personality more charismatic and make us more approachable. As Kinsey Godman rightly said, you may not be aware of the connections, but you instinctively feel that when someone is more passionate, their gestures would automatically become more animated and they look more enthusiastic. You are processing that their gestures are bigger, so they must be really into the topic. So now I will be taking you through some hand gestures which are perceived as confident, powerful and engaging. Any body language which is open is considered as confident, welcoming and warm. This is actually the most important fundamental that you should be knowing about body language and hand gestures. So the first gesture, which is actually the best gesture for any conversation, is talking with your palms facing upward. This is often used by many successful leaders. This position is considered as a pleading and requesting position. It is basically perceived as a gesture to show submission. According to the research, talking with your palm facing up has 40% more audience attention than by talking with your palm facing down or by pointing a finger. You are basically perceived as a friendly, humorous and engaging person if you use this hand gesture. Now moving to the second confident hand gesture, which is talking with your palms open at 45 degrees. Looks something like this. First of all, it sends a signal that you are an open person. As when we are being truthful, we tend to use open gestures like showing our palm, wrist, and spreading arms away from our bodies, which show the other person that you are not hiding anything from him or her. Now, moving to the third hand gesture, which is considered very much confident and is actually one of my favorites, is talking with your hands on waist. Actually, is not a hand gesture, but it is a posture which we should be assuming between hand gestures. This represents that you are highly energetic and confident, and also feels like that you own that zone and the audience. It is perceived that you are very much comfortable with the topic. Now, moving to the fourth hand gesture, which you should be adding in your library of hand gesture, is a steepling gesture. In this gesture, the palms are separated slightly and the fingertips are spread and touching, which looks something like this. Steepling gesture is also a common but a very smart gesture to use. It's a clear indication that you know in and out about a topic you are speaking or listening to. And even if you do it intentionally, you will automatically start feeling a lot more confident. We can also add some basic gestures in our conversation to make it more effective and memorable. First one is showing numbers with fingers, which looks something like this. Second one is showing levels or amounts of something. Third one is showing opposites with our hands. There are many more minute gestures like these which we really underrate, but the impact that it creates on the other person is just spectacular. These are some of the gestures that we should use in our day-to-day life to make us stand out in conversation. And I will definitely recommend you all to use these gestures with your friends and figure out which gestures works for you and makes you feel more confident. So many of you might be feeling that we are not using even a single gesture in our day-to-day conversation. So let me tell you this, it is very normal. But in addition to that, I will also tell you that this is not an inborn talent. It is a skill which could be learned with practice and time. So now let's get to the main question, which is what we should be doing about it now. So the answer of this question is that we just need to take these 4 steps. The first step is awareness. We need to pay attention to what we are doing with our hands, because many of us are not even aware of what we are doing with it. Now let's get to the second step, which is replacement, which means that anytime we notice a gesture which is not right or not appropriate, we should be pulling our hands back to our sides. Now the third step is that we should be all in when we are in a conversation. In simple words, it means that we should feel what we are talking about, because it induces in us our hand gestures unknowingly. One more thing that we should be keeping in our mind is that we should also not be using fake hand gestures. I will recommend that people should practice fake gesturing in private or in a small group of friends to get comfortable with the hand movements. But when it's a performance time, we should let go everything and be very much authentic. If we have practiced it enough, then it will come out automatically and authentically when we are speaking in public. What we can take away from this point is that we should be authentic. Your audience will definitely appreciate your authenticity. Hope that this video will be adding some value in your life. And I can also assure you that if you use the hand gestures which are talked about in this video previously wisely, then it will definitely help you in earning some brownie points in every conversation you make. And must consider liking this video if you like my effort and if you learned anything from this video. And must drop a comment if you like the video. So that's all for today. Stay safe, keep us safe. Bye bye.